Imagine losing half the muscle in your body just because you got older. By the time we reach 80, that's exactly what can happen. It's a condition called sarcopenia, and it's quietly stealing strength and independence from more than 50 million older adults around the world. Every year, over 300,000 seniors are hospitalized after falls, many of which happen because their muscles simply aren't strong enough to catch them. But here's what most people don't realize. Muscle loss isn't inevitable. Not everyone in their 70s struggles to climb stairs or get out of a chair. There's a group of seniors, often called super-agers, who are still hiking, playing sports, and living fully independent lives well into their 90s. In fact, many of them outperform people half their age in strength tests. So, what's their secret? According to groundbreaking research from the Mayo Clinic and Harvard Medical School, there are simple habits that can slow down and even reverse muscle loss as we age. The surprising part? Most people have never heard of them. In fact, 93% of older adults are missing out on this life-changing information. Even more concerning, many doctors still give outdated advice that goes against what science now knows about staying strong later in life. And chances are, there's one habit you're doing every day that's actually speeding up muscle breakdown without you even realizing it. Changing that one habit could be the difference between growing older with strength and independence, or slowly becoming dependent on others. So if staying active, mobile, and independent matters to you, stay with us. What you'll learn in the next few minutes might completely change how you age. Before we jump in, let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. And if this topic speaks to you, give the video a like and hit subscribe for more insights like this. Let's get started. Habit number 7. Harnessing the power of helpful stress. Here's something surprising. Many of the strongest, most active people in their 80s do things that go completely against what we might consider safe or comfortable. These super-agers regularly expose themselves to specific types of stress, what scientists call hormetic stressors. The idea behind hormesis is simple but powerful. Small doses of stress that would normally be harmful at high levels can actually make your body stronger. It's the classic "what doesn't kill you makes you stronger," but backed by real science. According to the Buck Institute for Research on Aging, short bursts of certain stressors can trigger protective responses in your cells. These responses not only preserve muscle structure, but also improve its function and growth even well into your 80s. One of the most effective stressors? Temperature changes. Ending your shower with 30 to 60 seconds of cold water, or briefly immersing yourself in a cold plunge, can activate brown fat, boost mitochondrial growth, and trigger a hormone called adiponectin, which protects muscle tissue from breaking down. On the flip side, exposure to heat through saunas or hot baths stimulates heat shock proteins. These are essential for repairing damaged muscle cells and slowing protein loss. A study from Finland found that people who used a sauna 4 to 7 times per week reduced their muscle loss by an incredible 40% over a decade compared to those who didn't. Another powerful hormetic stressor is intermittent fasting, also known as time-restricted eating. By eating only within an 8 to 10-hour window each day, long-living individuals activate a cellular cleanup process called autophagy. This helps eliminate damaged cell parts and improves muscle quality. In fact, research from the Salk Institute shows this habit can improve mitochondrial function in muscle cells by up to 10% in just 12 weeks, regardless of whether any weight is lost. And then there's the third type of stressor: brief, intense muscle contractions. Super-agers often engage in a unique form of training that outperforms traditional isometric exercises. These involve pushing or pulling against an immovable object, using full effort for just 5 to 10 seconds. These short, powerful muscle contractions send a strong signal to the body to maintain muscle size and strength without putting too much strain on the joints. What makes all these stressors so effective is that they're not constant, they're quick, controlled, and always followed by recovery. This intermittent exposure is what activates longevity genes like sirtuins and foxoproteins, which are crucial for maintaining muscle health as we age. If you're new to these practices, start small. Build your tolerance gradually. The key is to aim for stress that strengthens you, not stress that overwhelms you. Done right, these micro-stressors can turn back the clock on aging muscle sand, help you move through life with energy, strength, and confidence. Habit number 6. Why? When you eat, protein matters more than you think. When it comes to building or preserving muscle, most people focus on how much protein they're eating. But research is now showing that for older adults, timing may be even more important than quantity. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at processing protein. Scientists call this phenomenon anabolic resistance, and it means that the same amount of protein simply doesn't trigger the same muscle-building effect as it used to. A major study published in the Journal of Nutrition revealed that seniors who spread their protein intake evenly across meals experienced better muscle protein synthesis compared to those who consumed it mostly at dinner, a common habit among older adults. That's because the window right after you eat, about 3 to 4 hours, is when your body is best equipped to build new muscle. So if you're loading up on protein all at once in the evening, you're essentially missing several opportunities during the day to support your muscles. The smarter strategy? Aim for 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at each meal, spaced out evenly throughout the day. Start with breakfast. Skip the toast or sugary cereal. Instead, include protein-rich foods like eggs, Greek yogurt, or a morning smoothie. For lunch and dinner, continue the pattern with lean meats, fish, dairy, or plant-based proteins like beans and lentils. If you're vegetarian or vegan, this one adjustment, timing your protein intake, can have a powerful impact. In fact, a 12-week study from the University of Texas found that participants who followed this exact strategy gained an average of 1.2 pounds of lean muscle without changing anything else about their lifestyle. It's a simple shift, but one with big potential. Because in the long run, it's not just what you eat, it's when you eat it that can decide whether your muscles grow stronger or slowly fade away. Habit number 5. Strength starts with this muscle vitamin. Here's something most people don't realize. Over 80% of older adults are missing something researchers now call the muscle vitamin. We're talking about vitamin D. Its deficiency is incredibly common in people over 60. But this isn't just about bone health. What's more concerning is that a lack of vitamin D quietly chips away at your strength. Recent studies out of Harvard have shown that vitamin D directly affects how your body builds and maintains muscle. Your muscle cells actually have special vitamin D receptors. When those receptors are activated, they help trigger the genes responsible for muscle growth and protein synthesis. In fact, a study published in JAMA Internal Medicine found that seniors with optimal vitamin D levels had 25% more muscle strength than those who were deficient. That's not just a number, it's a real advantage when it comes to balance, coordination, and reaction time, all critical in preventing falls. Super agers, those vibrant individuals still thriving into their 80s and beyond, consistently show vitamin D levels above 40 nanograms per milliliter. In contrast, the average older adult sits below 20, which is classified as deficient. So how do you fix it? While sunlight is still helpful, aging skin produces less than half the vitamin D it once did. For many older adults, supplementation becomes essential. But here's the catch: most guidelines suggest just 600 IU per day, which is far below what most people actually need. Research shows that a more realistic target is between 2,000 to 4,000 IU daily, depending on your individual blood levels. That's why it's worth getting tested to find out exactly where you stand. From there, you can combine smart supplementation with natural food sources like fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified dairy products. Whenever possible, aim for 15 to 20 minutes of midday sun exposure without sunscreen and bare skin. One important note: vitamin D works best when paired with vitamin K2. K2 helps direct calcium to your bones instead of your arteries, reducing the risk of arterial calcification. Thankfully, most people can get enough K2 through fermented foods and certain animal products. Bottom line, your vitamin D status could be the silent force deciding whether your muscles stay stronger, slowly fade with time. Talk to your doctor about getting your levels tested and shoot for a goal of above 40 ng/ml to give your body the best chance at preserving strength and independence. Habit number 4. The daily rituals that keep inflammation low and muscles strong. Want to know what nearly all superagers have in common? The ones who stay strong, mobile, and full of energy well into their 80s and beyond, they all have one thing in check: low levels of chronic inflammation. Researchers now recognize that low-grade, long-term inflammation, often called inflammaging, is one of the key drivers of muscle loss in older adults. It's a silent process that quietly breaks down muscle protein faster than your body can rebuild it. Worse still, inflammation interferes with the muscle-building signals your body needs after exercise or when consuming protein. That means even if you're working out and eating right, inflammation could be stopping your progress cold. A landmark study from Tufts University found that older adults with high inflammatory markers lost muscle 3 times faster than those with low inflammation, no matter how much they exercised or how much protein they ate. So how do superagers avoid this hidden threat? First, they prioritize quality sleep. Deep, uninterrupted rest for 7 to 8 hours in a completely dark environment is non-negotiable. Poor sleep can spike inflammatory cytokines by up to 40%, which directly accelerates muscle breakdown. Second, they focus on gut health. New research from the University of California links age-related changes in gut bacteria to whole-body inflammation. That's why long-living adults eat a wide variety of fiber-rich foods, aiming for more than 30 different plant foods each week. They also include fermented options like yogurt, kefir, and sauerkraut, all rich in natural probiotics that support gut balance and immune health. Third, they take a smart, strategic approach to exercise. Staying active daily is critical, but going too hard too often can backfire. Superagers typically engage in moderate activity most days of the week and mix in short bursts of higher intensity just once or twice. It's about consistency, not punishment. Finally, they support their bodies with anti-inflammatory nutrients. That means getting 2 to 3 grams of omega-3 fatty acids each day from fatty fish or supplements, along with curcumin from turmeric, and polyphenol-rich foods like berries, green tea, and extra virgin olive oil. One study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed this combination can lower inflammatory markers by up to 29% in just 12 weeks. Want to know where you stand? A simple blood test called high-sensitivity CRP, HSCRP, can measure your inflammation levels. Superagers tend to have scores below 1.0 mg/L, while the average older adult clocks in 3 to 5 times higher. So if staying strong and independent matters to you, it's time to start managing inflammation like your vitality depends on it, because it absolutely does. Habit number 3. Power up your muscles with these overlooked daily nutrients. Most nutrition advice today centers on macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fat. But those who age with remarkable strength and vitality pay close attention to something even more powerful: micronutrients that specifically support muscle function and protein synthesis. Here's the truth: without the right supporting vitamins and minerals, your workouts and protein shakes might not be enough. You can do everything right on paper and still lose muscle if your body lacks the tools it needs to use those nutrients effectively. Let's start with magnesium. Researchers at the University of Vermont call it the forgotten electrolyte, crucial for muscle health. Shockingly, over 70% of adults over 60 are deficient in this essential mineral, which plays a role in over 300 enzymatic reactions, including those tied to muscle strength. A 2021 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that older adults with adequate magnesium levels had 30% more grip strength and significantly better physical performance than those with even mild deficiencies. That's why long-living adults make sure to get magnesium-rich foods like dark leafy greens, seeds, nuts, and dark chocolate. They often add highly absorbable forms of magnesium like glycinate or threonate to cover any gaps. Next is creatinine, not just for young bodybuilders. Groundbreaking research from McMaster University found that older adults supplementing with creatine saw impressive gains in muscle mass, strength, and even cognitive performance above and beyond strength training alone. Just 3 to 5 grams a day can increase cellular energy and muscle hydration, creating the ideal environment for growth. Now let's talk about methylated B12. As we age, our ability to absorb B12 plummets, mainly due to reduced stomach acid. What's worse? Common medications like metformin and proton pump inhibitors can drain your B12 even faster. This vitamin is critical for energy production in muscles and proper nerve function. That's why those who age successfully often switch to methylcobalamin, a bioavailable form of B12 rather than the cheaper synthetic version found in most multivitamins. Other micronutrient cofactors like zinc, selenium, and chromium also play essential roles. They boost insulin sensitivity and help shuttle nutrients into your muscle cells where they're actually needed. A major 5-year study from Tufts University found that older adults with sufficient trace minerals maintained 22% more muscle mass than those who were deficient. Rather than relying on generic multivitamins, many superagers test their micronutrient levels and customize their supplement strategy accordingly. This personalized approach ensures their bodies get exactly what they need and nothing they don't. Because when it comes to building strength as you age, precision matters. Habit number 2, protecting the electrical circuit that powers your muscles. There's a hidden reason muscle loss speeds up with age, and it's not what most people think. The first signs of decline often don't begin in the muscle fibers themselves. Instead, they start where your nerves connect to your muscle sat, something called the neuromuscular junction. Think of it like a power outlet. When that connection weakens, the signal from your brain to your body starts to fade. After age 60, this disconnect accelerates rapidly. And no matter how much protein you eat or how often you work out, it becomes harder for your muscles to respond if the wiring between your nerves and muscles is frayed. But here's the good news. Research from the University of Michigan shows that superagers, those rare individuals who remain strong well into their 80s, maintain sharper neuromuscular health than their peers. And they do it through targeted movement and daily habits designed to protect these vital connections. Step 1. Train your coordination. Engaging in activities that demand precise, mindful movement like Tai Chi, dancing, tennis, or even ping pong can significantly boost the communication between your nervous system and your muscles. These activities don't just burn calories. They rewire your motor pathways and reinforce the neural circuitry that keeps your muscles alive and responsive. A 2020 study in the Journal of Physiology found that older adults who practiced coordination-based movement twice a week saw a 31% improvement in preserving neuromuscular junctions compared to those doing only basic strength or cardio routines. The second strategy: feed your nerves. Certain compounds have been shown to protect and revitalize neuromuscular health. Alpha-lipoic acid and acetyl L-carnitine help guard nerve-muscle connections from oxidative damage. Variants of vitamin B1 like benfotiamine and huperzine A, an extract from Chinese club moss, can support levels of acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter responsible for triggering muscle activation. The third tool: intentional breathing. Superagers often practice vagus nerve stimulation through simple breathing techniques. One method, called box breathing, involves inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and holding again. Just 5 minutes a day of this rhythmic breathing can boost neuromuscular activity by up to 15%. supporting the body's internal wiring with every breath. Finally, don't underestimate your mind. A groundbreaking study from Columbia University found that older adults who regularly engaged in cognitive challenges like learning new skills, problem solving, or memory games actually improved muscle function. Researchers discovered that mental engagement has a direct, measurable impact on the neuromuscular system through shared neural pathways. It turns out the more you think, move, and breathe with intention, the stronger your body stays right down to the connections that let your brain and muscles speak to one another. And that's the secret. Superagers stay sharp by preserving not just muscle mass, but the electrical lines that power it. Habit number 1. The most powerful anti-aging habit: progressive resistance training. If there's one thing that separates 80-year-olds who move like they're 40 from those who struggle to get out of a chair, it's this. It's not a supplement. It's not a superfood. It's progressive resistance training, and according to researchers at Tufts University, it may be the most effective anti-aging intervention ever discovered. But here's the key. Superagers don't just lift weights casually. They follow targeted protocols designed to fight the very biological processes that break down muscle with age. Because here's the truth. Muscles follow the use it or lose it rule. And walking, swimming, or lifting the same light dumbbells week after week just isn't enough after age 60. What makes the difference? Intensity. Studies from McMaster University show that older adults who trained with higher resistance, pushing their muscles close to temporary exhaustion twice per week, gained more muscle than those who trained moderately 5 times per week. That moment of near exhaustion, when you physically can't complete one more rep with good form, is the trigger. It signals your body to start building new muscle for the next 72 hours. And it's not just about how hard you push, it's how you move. Superagers focus on compound movements that activate multiple muscle groups at once, like squats, deadlifts, rows, presses, and pulls. These movements stimulate a stronger hormonal response than isolated exercises like bicep curls or leg extensions. They also follow the principle of progressive overload, increasing resistance or difficulty over time. Because your body adapts to what you demand of it. If you don't challenge it, it won't grow. These individuals track their progress, adjust their training, and continually push for small, steady improvements. Another key? They pay attention to the eccentric fast lowering portion of each rep. Research shows this phase places greater tension on the muscles with less joint stress, making it especially effective for older adults looking to gain strength safely. And here's the amazing part. It's never too late to start. A landmark study from the University of Alabama found that adults in their 70s who began a progressive resistance program gained an average of 3.3 pounds of muscle and increased strength by 35% in just 12 weeks. Even better, these gains came alongside improved blood sugar control, stronger bones, and better cognitive function. So if you're looking for one habit that could transform your body, your energy, and your future, it's this. Start where you are, but don't stay there, because your body is still listening, and it's ready to grow if you're willing to challenge it. The most common and costly mistake older adults make. There's a myth that still holds a lot of people back. The idea that resistance training is risky or unnecessary as we age. But skipping strength training may actually be the biggest risk of all. When you avoid building strength, your muscle mass continues to shrink. That leads to more weakness, a higher chance of falling, and eventually, a greater risk of losing your independence. If there's one habit to take away from everything we've shared today, let it be this. Progressive resistance training is essential at any age. Start your journey with guidance from a qualified professional. Focus on proper form. Begin at a level that matches your current ability, and progress gradually from there. Just 2 30-minute sessions a week can shift the entire course of your aging process. Throughout this video, We've walked through 7 science-backed habits that explain how some people in their 80s maintain the muscle strength of someone decades younger. So don't try to do it all at once. Start with the habit that feels easiest or most doable for you today. Then, build from there. Every choice you make now is a brick in the foundation of your future strength, confidence, and independence. Now we'd love to hear from you. Which of these 7 habits are you already practicing? Which one surprised you the most? Do you know someone in their 70s or 80s who still moves, lives, or lifts like they're in their prime? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We read every one. Your stories and questions help inspire others on the same path. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Your attention, your energy, and your health are deeply appreciated.